How will you actively work to promote cultural diversity, inclusivity, and representation within local government and city events?
It's a matter of reaching out, because if you just stay within your own cocoon, you're going to see your own people, your own faces. You have to make the effort to reach out. Things like the Mercado, I love that. You know, we have such diversity there and such exposure. More events like that, more events that the city can sponsor like that. We have to encourage people to want to be inclusive. It's got to be a welcoming atmosphere for them, so they don't feel like they're breaking into some place, but they're welcome, and that their views and their opinions are valued. So it's really up to us to make that effort and go out and prioritize inclusivity.
I think we need to look at where we are with our local leadership. We currently have two major populations that are unrepresented at the city council level. That is Indian Americans and African Americans. So we need to look at when we're voting, who we are voting for, how do they represent us. I can tell you that was privileged to go out to the Sikh temple and speak to them, and I was also privileged to talk to several black churches here in Merced. And they do not feel that they have a connection to the city council because there's no one on the council who understands the challenges and the issues that are in their communities. So we need to start looking at being diverse in our local leadership, and then we can project that out into the community.
Merced is very diverse. We all know this, and that's one of the great things about our city. And so, tonight, by the way, there's the Hispanic Heritage Block Party at the Tioga, so let's make sure to go to that. And so working with these different organizations, the different businesses, the Merced Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which I am a member of, does the Mercado. And so they do these Mercados every other month up until November, and these are great events. So the city can work on doing some of those events to bring that to really promote the cultures, but we also need to work with our different communities here in Merced, our Asian Pacific Islander community, a Hmong Association, Lao Association, and the Hmong community as well, so that we can do events with them that really showcase their culture in our city, because they are a big part of our city.
One thing that I'm very proud of our council is the Mercado, the Hispanic Chamber, did come to us back in 2021, seeing the need of a farmer's market that took place in Merced. I grew up, and that was something my mom took me to every week on a Thursday, was the downtown farmer's market. And I still remember that to this day. So approving for the Hispanic Chamber to implement that event to come to our city was a huge boost. It was great. I love that they're continuing to do that. But we also have Lao New Year that happens in May. We have the Hmong New Year that happens in December. And we continue to support these events, and we show up. And I think that's the number one thing is, I might be white, but I still show up to these community and cultural events because this is my community, and I'm here to support them, and I want them to know that I support them.
So as to the first part of the question, has to we increase cultural diversity, inclusion, and representation at the local government level? And something that's important to me is language access. Right now we have Spanish and Hmong interpreters, but people speak more languages than Spanish, English, and Hmong. There's a growing population here in Merced of indigenous people from Latin America that speak languages like Mixteco. So having local government provide interpreters on documents in their language that they speak or read would be the first step in ensuring that they have access to their elected officials, local governments, and all the agencies that they depend on. As for events, I think I agree with everybody where having these events like the Mercado, Hmong New Year, and having our representatives be there is the best way to ensure that we know what's going on in our community, that we're connected with the community. In that sense, I think city council members are outreach workers for the city. They're the first contact of these communities, and we should be comfortable in being in these spaces to welcome others.
So first of all, I would make sure public funds stay in Merced, that these funds are being used as investments to the community, not to city council members to attend like leadership programs. I really want to ask the community, what would you do with $10,000 to $20,000 in providing events and cultural diversity in our community? There's a shortcoming with the lack of a tourism board. In 2018, I got a call, a firm in LA wanted to shoot a commercial here in our community, and they called me because they said, you don't have a tourism board. And usually we work with them to pull out permits. The same thing with yards. They said the majority of people who come out are actually from out of town, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because they also mentioned we work with the Madera Tourism Board, where we're Stanislaus County. Merced does not have one. Also, I want to see transparency in City Hall and opening up City Hall through a program that community understands how departments operate and budgets are formed. We saw the City of Fresno did that just recently, and we could do that right here in Merced, but it goes back to transparency and the funding to stay here in our community.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the unemployment rate in the city of Merced is about 10%. How will you create economic opportunities that provide sustainable wages for all residents and allow them to achieve upward mobility? You will have a minute to answer this question, and the first speaker will be Felipe Rojas Flores.
So I think the best way to create economic development is to support the businesses that are started here locally, as opposed to trying to get big business to come into town. And the reason I would prioritize local businesses first, because they're the first ones that are going to stay here, right? We just saw the Save Mart warehouse close. Save Mart's owned by a private equity firm out of Canada. I don't think they have an interest in Merced. Local business leaders do. Local businesses do. So I think in ensuring that the city is there to help any city residents to start their own business, develop their own business, grow their business is the best way to ensure jobs are created and jobs that are sustainable and are going to be here in Merced for generations. Another thing that we can do is also encourage more unionized workforces. I'm a union member myself, and big supporter of workers' right to collectively organize.
So first of all, we need a robust economic development department that provides a community-centered approach and attracts high-road economic employment to our city. What that means is we also need to attract large industry that provides good-paying jobs and is conscious about the environmental impacts of our community. With these good-paying jobs, also providing a platform and removing red tape and ensuring a smooth process to do business with the city. I started a small business here in the city of Merced, and I'll tell you right now, they had me running around between the county, the city, and different departments just to pull the permits necessary and have the appropriate licensing. So that investment also goes back to startups and pop-ups through our community. There's a lot of pop-ups that come out in our city in the evening, like taco stands, and they provide a lot of concerns. There's no worker safety, and ensuring that people are getting paid their fair wages as they're working, making tacos in the evening.
Yes, unemployment rates, if you've looked at it, it has increased since the last month, and it is a concern of mine. And how are we going to address that? So I've always been a support of local-owned businesses. I've worked for a handful of locally owned businesses, and I've enjoyed every moment of it, and they really are the root of our community. Another thing is I'm sitting on currently the Economic Development Committee with the City of Merced, and we're in discussions of what does economic development look like. And it's not just like we're gonna bring in some, warehouse to come in, but it's like, what are the skills that we currently have here that you can easily come in and hire people locally? And then another thing is we need to be looking at available space and future space. What does the bigger scale of Merced look like, and where are we growing when it comes to industrial and commercial areas? And then, then look for the space for the potential employers and where they can make their footprint here in Merced.
Thank you. I actually own a small business myself, and I can tell you the process to open a small business in Merced can be somewhat challenging. We need to make that easier so that we are seeing more small businesses open up, more opportunities for entrepreneurship. Also, knowing that we have a 10% unemployment rate, we need to be out there retraining our workforce. We have a huge ag and tech presence here in Merced. So we need to be focusing our workforce training on those industries where jobs are currently available and good paying jobs that are currently available in those industries. We also do, like I have said this before, I am fully in support of Councilwoman Boyle's directive to bring in an outside consultant and look at Merced, get a really good picture of Merced, and guide us in what the future of economic development should be here in Merced. And that's where I stand on that.
I myself am a business owner. I run an education consulting company, and Merced is difficult. The word around the business community is that Merced is not business friendly. It's very difficult to do business in Merced. It's getting a little better. I had a great conversation with our city manager the other day about opening breweries. It's actually, the city has done a great job to facilitate that. But there is already that stigma, and so we need to get out into the business community that Merced will be business friendly. We need all types of businesses, small and large. That is how we support our growing community. Yeah, construction is one of our big ones. So if we do more development, then that's going to increase a lot of qualified construction jobs that can lead to skilled jobs in the future, and we need to build our economic development department.
Thank you. I won't differentiate between small businesses or large business. I'll take any business that wants to come to Merced and provide jobs. Bringing in business brings in revenue. Revenue funds road repair, sidewalks, services. Large businesses come with training programs to give the local people skills that they may not have to function in those businesses. If I were the economic development director, there'd be cobwebs by my desk because I would be out selling Merced as much as possible. We have a product here. We have a city that's amazing. People are not breaking down our doors to come offer us businesses. We have to go to them. We have to sell them Merced. I'm prepared to do that. We need to do that, bring the businesses in, because with the businesses comes better economic health, and that goes all the way down to fixing potholes.